Hey, how are you guys doing? My name is Rishi,
How's it going? My name's John.
and we are students in this Sleeps and Dream class for Psych 135, and we're so excited today to show you our presentation. So, starting off, me and John wanted to take a very creative approach to this project, and we kind of achieved it in a multifaceted lens. I started off by creating a custom AI bot that is fine-tuned with a lot of information specifically about our class and targeted towards athletes to then help athletes understand and learn more about why sleep is so important for their recovery and to debunk any common myths that they had. And I'm going to actually go and do a live demo of this right now. So if you click the link, right, and this is for you guys to check out afterwards as well, you can play around with. If you go here, you can see this is our custom GPT built, right? And so what this means is it has all the information and prevalent to the class. And on top of this, right, is fine-tuned towards athletes. So let's do a demonstration. I'm gonna start here.
Hi there. I just want to share how.
Sure.
Hello, it's
I like
lovely
this
to
voice.
meet
This is
Hi
awesome.
there. I just want to share.
But let's start. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? What's on your mind today? Sleep, training, or something else you're working on?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I'm an athlete, as you know. I'm a rower at Stanford, and I just want a little bit more information about what you are. I heard about you. Can you tell me a little bit?
Absolutely. So, I'm basically your go to guide for how sleep science can boost athletic performance. I break down the key sleep concepts, like how different sleep stages help you recover, how timing impacts your circadian rhythm, and how lack of sleep can really hurt your reaction time to recovery. Basically, I help athletes like you apply sleep science to get stronger, stay sharp, and avoid those common sleep myths. Sound like what you were looking for?
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for, actually. So the first thing I want to start off with is tell me a little bit about how much sleep I should be getting every single night, right? And like maybe some of the disorders that are there in class that we learned about.
Got it. Let's keep it simple first. As an athlete, the sweet spot is usually around 7 to 9 hours per night. Most adult athletes need at least 8 hours for optimal recovery. It's not just about quantity, but also quality deep sleep and REM. And on the disorder side, common ones we cover are insomnia, sleep apnea, restless legs, and circadian rhythm issues. Those can all sneak in and disrupt performance. If you want, I can break down any of those in more detail.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I just wanted to show, what you are and how you can help athletes worldwide. So as you see, you guys please take a test of that as well, right? It's fed in with all the information in the class, and you guys can try this out. But we just wanted to do something cool and creative here. So before we go into our presentation as well, I just want to do a quick shout out to Dr. Dement, right? This course is a part of Stanford tradition that dated all the way back to 1971. And, I felt dishonorable if I wasn't able to at least mention Dr. Dement and how much of an impact he's had on me and John here. And we're just so excited to continue with our presentation. So again, the first half was I just wanted to show you guys a little bit about the custom AI bot that we built out and for you guys to try it. And now we're going to actually go into our presentation officially.
Yeah, so starting off with our presentation roadmap, we're going to hit on the basics of sleep cycle and rhythm. We're going to talk about sleep debt and the class motto, drowsiness is red alert. We're going to go over some common sleep disorders, especially as they pertain to athletes. And then we're going to talk about some misconceptions about sleep. These are personally the most interesting to me because they're truly things that everyone seems to know about sleep, but even the things that you could think are correct could be wrong. And we've learned this through Psych and this journey. And then we're going to go into some additional information on how this pertains to athletes more specifically and how we can take this even further. So one of the things that the class harps on, and I think is really interesting, is that sleep is a paradox. Because if you're any living, breathing animal, like a predator or prey, you realize that sleep is a big cost to what you are and your chances of survival. If you're prey, there's a chance that at night you might be killed if you're sleeping. Or if you're napping during the day, a predator might come and eat you. And as a predator, you need to use valuable time to hunt to find prey. But you also have to sleep, and every animal does it. So this is why sleep is kind of a paradox. And as people, we need to optimize sleep better, knowing this is true. So how can we optimize this? Me personally, I'm a rower here at Stanford. I know other athletes, and we're all trying to get more sleep, trying to get better sleep, and that's what we're going to learn about in this presentation. Starting off with your sleep cycle. When we talk about sleep, it's not one uniform state. Normal sleep cycles between two main states, non-REM sleep and REM sleep. In Psych 135, we frame sleep as natural, restorative physiological process that's characterized by a perceptual disengagement, but is also rapidly reversible, meaning your brain can wake up as fast as it needs to. Non-REM sleep has 3 stages, N1, N2, and N3. N1 is light sleep. As you transition down, N2 is workhorse stage for most of the night, and N3 is deep, slow wave sleep, which is especially tied to physical restoration and recovery processes. REM sleep is a stage people associate with vivid dreaming. It's characterized by your rapid eye movements and near complete muscle atonia, which is basically your body's safety feature so you don't act out your dreams, which is kind of cool. REM is also important for brain functions like memory and emotional processing. Let's talk about your sleep hour on hour. One quick takeaway is a good night of sleep is not just about hours, it's about successfully moving through the stages of sleep in a healthy pattern. So this slide is showing the sleep architecture and how sleep stages change across the night. A typical night isn't down into deep sleep and then done. Instead, we cycle repeatedly through non-REM and REM sleep. 2 patterns matter a lot. First, deep sleep is front-loaded. As you can see here, you tend to get more N3 earlier in the night. And as the night goes on, REM periods get longer. That's why waking up too early doesn't just reduce total sleep, it can disproportionately reduce your REM sleep later in the night. But if you think about it in the context of a predator, it makes a lot of sense. With an animal, it's important that the most crucial sleep is done in the very early hours, so that they can get minimal sleep if needed. Second, sleeping straight through the night is clearly a myth. Brief awakenings are normal. Most people have them, they just don't remember it. So if you wake up for a minute at 3 a.m. or have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, that does not automatically mean something's wrong. A bigger question is, you need to return to sleep, and when and how fast are you going to do so? All right, now let's talk about sleep debt. In this class, we have a motto for a reason, and it's drowsiness is red alert. Sleep debt is the gap between the sleep your body needs and the sleep you actually get. A key Psych 135 point that is sleep timing is driven by these 2 forces, both a homeostatic drive and a circadian drive. A homeostatic drive is about like the longer you're awake, the more pressure builds on you to want to sleep. And your circadian drive is your internal clock that organizes when you feel sleepy or alert. The less you sleep, the more your brain pushes back later. And importantly, for athletes, motivation and stimulation can mask your sleepiness. You can feel fine because you're hyped up, but psychologically, you're still impaired if you don't get that necessary time. That's what red alert means. Drowsiness is not a personality trait or willpower issue. It's your brain telling you that your alertness is falling and your performance and safety are starting to drop as a result.
Awesome. So now we want to talk about some sleep disorders. I want to hit the 3 common sleep disorders that matter a lot for performance and daily functioning, especially for athletes, right? And this is obstructive sleep apnea, insomnia, and delayed sleep phase. So talking about number 1, obstructive sleep apnea. OSA is a repetitive pauses or reduction in breathing during sleep because the upper airway collapses or gets blocked. The reason it's a performance problem is that OSA fragments sleep and can reduce oxygenation. It's associated with excessive daytime sleepiness and neurocognitive impacts like impaired attention and vigilance. And it also carries meaningful health risks if untreated. Right? A simple screening message from class is sleeping should be silent, not loud habitual snoring and witness pauses, as those deserve attention. So number 2, I really want to talk about insomnia. So in Psych 135, insomnia isn't just I had one bad night. Clinically, it's difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep that causes daytime impairment. And chronic insomnia typically means symptoms at least 3 nights per week for at least 3 months. In class, I know the framing was like the need for sleep is biological, but the way you sleep is learned. And that's why insomnia can become a self-reinforcing pattern. And importantly, insomnia is very treatable when treated correctly, and people shouldn't be stigmatized for it. Now, thirdly, I want to talk about delayed sleep phase, right? So the circadian rhythm sleep-wake disorder. This is when someone's internal clock is shifted later, so they can't fall asleep until very late and struggle with early mornings. The big issue for students and athletes is schedule mismatch, right? So early practice or early class can produce chronic sleep restriction even if sleep is normal when they're allowed to sleep on their natural schedule. So the quick takeaway with this is that if any of these match you consistently, especially unrefreshing sleep, loud snoring, persistent insomnia, or a clock that's stuck late, that's a good reason to take it seriously and consider talking to a clinician. Right? So now I want to tell you a little bit more about some huge misconceptions about your sleep. So I want to run you through a few common misconceptions. The first one is, I fell asleep because I was bored. In class, we are blunt with this. Monotony doesn't cause sleepiness. It reveals it. If you doze off during something boring, your brain was already short on sleep and already psychologically sleepy. Right? Two is, if I'm motivated, I'm not that sleepy. Motivation can mask the outward signs. We can look awake while still being impaired. Number three is, good sleepers sleep straight through the night. This is not really true, right? Brief awakenings are normal. The problem is when awakenings are frequent, long, or you can't get back to sleep. Number four is snoring is normal, right? This is very common, right? But in this class, we treat loud habitual snoring, especially with gasping or unrefreshing sleep, as a potential warning sign. And misconception number five is, I can fix sleep debt in one night. Yes, one good night helps, but it's not a magic reset. Your body builds sleep pressure when you miss sleep, and recovery usually takes consistency.
Now I want to talk about some other notables within sleep. One thing I find really motivating is how top athletes treat sleep as a part of their job. You'll hear athletes talk about prioritizing long sleep windows, consistent schedules, and often naps. And this isn't because it's glamorous. It's because it directly affects their recovery, mood, and their performance. A careful way to say this is, the exact number of hours may vary by person and by training load, but the underlying principle is consistent within Psych 135, that your sleep is foundational. It's not just optimal, and it's a form of biological restoration that supports the brain's ability to perform. These three athletes listed below have claimed in interviews to get roughly around 8 to 10 hours of sleep: LeBron James, Usain Bolt, and Roger Federer. Roger Federer personally has been quoted as saying he gets around 12 hours of sleep. That's half a day. Look it up if you don't believe me. All right, now we'll go over some key takeaways together. Let me close with a few practicalities. Sleep is the base layer of performance. If you want consistent training adaptation and you want to improve your performance, you need to sleep first. You should aim for consistent sleep timing. Sleep timing is shaped by your circadian rhythm, as we mentioned earlier, and sleep pressure and your clock needs regular cues, especially morning light and nighttime darkness. You should treat drowsiness like a warning light. If you're fighting heavy sleepiness, that's a red alert, not a challenge to push through. You need more sleep in the night. And know the red flags: loud habitual snoring with unrefreshed sleep, persistent insomnia with daytime impairment, or an extreme delayed schedule that keeps clashing with mornings and school and practice are all worth taking seriously.
Thank you guys so much.
So did you have any further questions about the presentation, anything?
No, I really love the presentation. I think the AI chatbot is sick, but like, do I wake up in the middle of the night?
Yeah, so it's actually a myth that you sleep through the night completely. You might wake out about once every hour and a half, and that's completely normal.
Thank you. Good to know.
Dude, that was a great one. What you guys think? It was great.
This was fantastic.
Thank you
I
very
do have
much.
one question. How much sleep do you normally get?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As an athlete, you should aim to around 7 to 9, but even Roger Federer has been quoted in interviews as saying you should get around 10 to 12 hours of sleep a night, which is crazy. So really it's emphasized you need it. So what did you think about the presentation?
I love the presentation, and I really like that you guys made an AI chat box for it. I have one question. What is one bad Saturday night gonna do to like affect my sleep?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I get going out on the weekends. But one really bad Saturday is going to ruin your circadian rhythm, and it's going to make sleeping that Monday and that next week disrupted and also worse. So it's really good to stick in the schedule if you can.